you ready to turn it up?
Now pick it up
and rock it out at the place where summer,
we gotta rock this stage like we own it,
is always a hit.
You can rock and roll.
Who wants to be a lead singer? You are gonna have to buy tighter pants and learn how to play a tambourine.
I heard that.
The Disney Channel original movie, Camp Rock 2, The Final Jam, premieres Friday, September 3rd at 8/7 Central on Disney Channel.